Yo, what it do, YouTube? It's your boy MB, ready to do the breakdown of the best play of the week on the S&P 500 in the futures market. So today is Sunday, the Lord's Day, and I meant to do this video yesterday, but I had to take my car in for service because it got a nail in the tire. So it completely threw off my schedule, and I totally forgot to make this video, so I'm making it today. But it's all good, it's the weekend, I know you guys ain't doing nothing, so putting it out for you. So let me get into it. My goal for this series is to show you the absolute best setup of the week. Super easy setups that even a beginner can see. It doesn't require a lot of experience. You just have to know what you're looking for. And you don't have to be a full-time day trader. So if you're taking this, this is your only setup of the week. It's super easy and you can make a decent side money off of it. So now let me break it down for you. This play happened on Wednesday, the 13th. And I've been seeing this setup happen pretty frequently in the last 2 weeks. I'd have to say this is today, on this day was the 6th day that I saw this setup. And it actually happened the very next day as well. So it's just a setup that's been reoccurring lately. And so I was keeping an eye on it for it. So I marked out two zones. We have a supply zone and a demand zone. On the supply side, you can see that every time we get into this area, we get rejected. We have it here on Tuesday, again at Wednesday at 2 in the morning, and then again at 6 in the morning. So this is just the area where sellers are sitting. And then down here towards the bottom, we have our demand zone. So we find some buyers here, and you can see at 9 in the morning, we find some buyers here again. So I'm going to break it down to you in a 5-minute chart of what it looks like. Yeah, here in a 5-minute, you can see that we have our top here, and then our bottom where we find some buyers. So once we find our bottom, you can see that we kind of just chop around, but we're not really moving anywhere. We're just moving sideways. And so this area is acting as our resistance intraday. So let me mark this out for us. So if I put a line there, you can see that we find some sellers here. We're having a hard time getting above it right here. We get rejected. And then again, we have these 3 5-minute candles that just can't get above it. But then finally at 12 o'clock, we end up getting above this area. We break through it, don't necessarily close above it, but the next candle, we break through it again, and then we get a strong close above this area of resistance. So now this previous area of resistance is acting as support. So you can see right here that we get some bounces here. So now that this area has been broken through, it's consolidating, it's acting as support. Because we're in a bull market, our first inclination is to look for a continuation to the upside. So we had formed somewhat of a pennant. I wouldn't really call it a bull flag because, these candles keep going towards the highs, but then they get smaller and smaller. And so if I extend this out, it just looks like a pennant. You can call it a bull flag or a pennant, but regardless, both moves are bullish and they're a continuation to the upside. So you mark out the low, the high, and then where we have our level of support. So once we break out of this area, you want to see a continuation to the upside. But like I said before, because I've been seeing this pattern happen pretty frequently, I was actually anticipating this to fail. So I was looking for this previous support level to get a close below it and to fail, which means that we're going to go back to the downside. So if I go back to a 5-minute chart, the 5-minute is where I look for my confirmations. So this area is acting as support all the way over here for about, almost 2 hours. And then at 1:55, we finally break below it and we get the close. So now this bullish continuation thesis, to me, becomes invalidated. So we get the close below it, and now our job is to look for an entry. So you can't enter right here, but I like to wait for a retest of this previous support level to act as resistance for us to continue to the downside. So on the next 5 minutes, you can see that we got really close to this level. I should have waited a little bit longer. I actually did enter in right here, and we sold off a bit. And I paper-handed it. I covered my position here because I was like, maybe this is going to act as support, this demand area, but it ended up not happening. But regardless, I leave, I come back, and I see that we dumped. And I should have entered in right here at the actual previous support level, which is at 39.5. And you can see from 39.5, we had a nice sharp sell-off in the next 15 minutes. We rejected this area, get the close below it, and in the next 5 minutes, it was about 20 points. So my target, you could have had 1 or 2 targets. You could have had this previous demand area, but I've been noticing that, these moves have been pretty strong. So I was actually targeting this pivot point. So from 39 to 21, that's 18 points, almost 20 points. I mean, it ended up hitting a little over 20 points. So this was a $1,000 move if you just had one contract, and it happened, within 15 minutes, but it took all day to develop. But like I said, if you just sit on your hands, these plays are super obvious, super easy to spot out, and history repeats itself. I've seen this pattern happen multiple times in the last 2 weeks, so I knew exactly what to look out for. I just made the mistake of selling early, so still have to work on that. But aside from that, it was a super easy setup. I'm sure a lot of people caught this play. It's something to keep an eye out. Like I said, it happened the next day. We had the support level, break it, retest, and then continue the sell-off. So it's been happening a lot more frequently. Those are indications that maybe we might start rolling over, and it's either going to be a pullback or a deeper move to the downside, but just something to keep an eye out for. Watching these patterns helps us prepare for the future, and that pretty much brings us to a close. Hope you guys took this play. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you in the next one. I love you.